Hello YouTube and welcome to another video from me talking now about some of the game stores I used to frequent back in the early 90s. Most of them were located in central Southampton, but there was one in my local area at the time which was Swaithling. So the four I'm going to talk about, the main ones, are going to be Game in Bargate. Of course that store is long gone and the Bargate Centre went early last year as well. Remember there's being a Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior demo pod in there, lots of people playing on that. That's when the SNES was first released and Street Fighter 2 was the killer app at the time. Also played some Castlevania there when they had it on as well, and some Splatterhouse. Good times to be had there. Rubbish at Street Fighter time. I used to get my butt kicked by nearly everybody, but didn't know what I was doing, didn't know any special moves, nobody would tell me what they were. So there we are, unfortunately, but good memories to share nevertheless. Now we're going to talk about the Virgin Megastore in East Street. It was there at the time. That's a place that was the game store before that shut and all moved up to West Quay. But right back in the early days it was the Virgin Megastore. There we used to play on the demo pods in there again. Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior. Remember they had a Smash TV on one of the systems there. Streets of Rage on the Megadrive. Sonic on the Megadrive as well. Yeah, good times to be had there as well. Across the road from there was a shop called ULTIMA. There we had, don't think they had any demo pods in there. There was a bit more computery, more PC, ST and Amiga stuff was sold there at the time. I remember buying a few ST games from there back in the day, some cheap arcade conversions like Golden Axe and Shinobi. And some Mega Drive and SNES stuff there as well. Remember one guy playing a Michael Jordan basketball game and giving the whole shop a very, very loud commentary. A bit annoying at the time, but I remember it, so it must have achieved its purpose. Dunnes Stores. Now Dunnes Stores was where Marlands is now, in the Marlands Centre. That's when the Marlands first opened. A pod on the top floor there with, again, Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior and a NES pod with a Donald Duck game. I remember it being there at the time. That was towards the end of the NES's life. I think it was being phased out then as a Super Nintendo had just been released. But there we go. It's still quite a popular thing to play at the time, the NES. Debenhams. Now, before Game went in there, they used to have their own music and video section on the top floor, same as where Game was. Now there they had a demo pod and they used to open up until 8 o'clock at night. I think, not sure if that was every evening or just on the Thursdays, but remember when all the other shops used to shut, everybody used to rush down there and play on the Street Fighter pod there. Sadly, with so many people there in the evening, there was trouble towards the end. There was a bit of vandalism, I think some violence there as well. So I came in once and saw everything was turned off. Security guard came up to me and mentioned everything's now been turned off and more or less asked me to leave, which I did so. Sad that had to end like that, but there we go. Okay, so those are just really a quick view of some of the shops that sort of used to be around in central Southampton. A local shop I used to hang around at the time was Southampton Video Library. That's just after I bought my Mega Drive from Game Bargate, I hasten to add. They used to have a Neo Geo in there. There was £1 for 20 minutes. Remember enjoying myself on that. The games themselves, Art of Fighting 1, Fatal Fury 1, Nam 1975, and I think Ninja Warriors, I think it was. That was pretty good for a laugh. Remember the games being quite simplistic. We weren't too impressed with them, although graphically they were very good. They weren't much depth at the time. I appreciate them a bit more now than I did then. And of course SNK have more and made up for that with their other classic later titles they made. Didn't last long. I think it was actually sold off to some people I went to school with, believe it or not. They had a Mega Drive and SNES there at the same time, £1 for 20 minutes. We used to play a lot longer than that because we knew the staff there. Lots of games used to play on the Mega Drive and the SNES, too many to mention. I think, again, I'll be here all night if I try to sort of run through a list of them, but good times nevertheless. That had to end when some idiots decided to vandalise the owner's toilets in there. I never used the toilet at all in there, so you can't blame me for that. Yeah, very sorry, very sad that had to end. That was quite good times they had in there. Okay, so what happened to all those stores? Well, as I say, the Game in Bargate shut quite a few years ago. I think that was simply because there was just too many games in Southampton at the time, and of course the Bargate sort of went early last year as well. Virgin Megastore in East Street. Virgin Megastore actually moved up to where the demolished Odeon was, and then became the Virgin Megastore in the new building there, and then they became subsequently Zavvi, and they closed down now, and that's where the Barclays Bank is there. The place where Virgin Megastore was in East Street, that became Electronics Boutique, which then became Game, which is now closed, of course, so it's an empty store now. ULTIMA, as I say, that's now a hairdresser. I think that's been a beauty salon hairdresser over the years. Dunnes Stores, as I say, that became Matalan. I think it might have been empty before then, but I don't really remember, to be honest. It's going so far back. And Debenhams, of course, is there. Yeah, that's fine. SWAYTHLING Video Library, I think, because Blockbuster had opened up in Portsmouth, a lot of people were taking their business there. So the trade was dying. I think he sold it on to another person, who then sold it on to the person who owned the computer shop next door to that. And then that subsequently became a sort of loan centre or car finance centre, and now it's just an empty store, which I've went past very recently. So sad to say those stores have now gone. Again, I'm not sort of saying it was better back then, it's just the way that things were, just some of the stores I visited back then, and some memories to share with you. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go through some Megadrive games that I've got here, not all of them, and a couple of Master System ones as well, just to talk about sort of the game stores I bought them from. So let's start off with Ghouls and Ghosts. This is a great Megadrive conversion. I remember buying this from a place called Video to Go in whoops, drop that on the floor, in Burgess Road back in the day. Used to do a lot of trading and renting back then. I guess if you're young, dumb, and you can't afford to sort of keep games and you want to keep playing the new stuff, you would trade in the stuff you already had. It's the only way you can do it. Street Fighter 2, bought this from SWAYTHLING Video Library. Great times to be had with this. I remember paying £60 for that back in the day in instalments. Fantastic stuff. I'll even show you quickly a little something from back in the day here. This is my handwriting as a 15-year-old there. Still got the game after all these years. You can see never sold it. And that's my handwriting there, just discussing how to get the various codes you have with this game. I think some stars in Championship Edition mode. And turning off the normal moves as well. So that's great memories to share on this one. Road Rash 3, remember buying this in the Virgin Megastore in East Street at the time. This was towards the end of the Megadrive's life. This is when the PlayStation 1 and Saturn had just been released, and those were sort of being hyped up. So the Megadrive was sort of in its twilight years then. Yeah, didn't really like this compared to number 2, which I'll come on to in a moment. But good game nevertheless. I think I should try and give this a bit more time and just appreciate the differences they've made between 2 and 3. Shinobi. Now that was bought from a shop called COMPUCADE. This used to be in St Mary Street back in the day. Used to have a little LAN centre there. I'm a little bit too young for LAN stuff, but the guy I speak to, one of my friends, he says he used to do lock-ins in there. This was in that store for absolutely ages. I remember nobody wanted to buy it, so I did for however much it was, I think a few quid. What's great about this, it's still got the old tobacco stains, little monument to the COMPUCADE staff there, as you can see there. Absolutely reeked of tobacco when I first bought it, so it must have been used as some sort of ashtray. Yeah, the game itself isn't particularly brilliant. I'm so used to the arcade. The arcade's got some great memories, so this is a bit of a letdown. But, you know, good stuff nevertheless. And there we are. Street Fighter 2, well, Super Street Fighter 2. This one I bought from Virgin in East Street again. Great times with this one as well. All in good condition. Did I write anything in this one? Let's have a look. I always like to see if I just write things in here. No joy on this one. No joy on this one, sadly. I'm sure there is a code for it somewhere, but I never wrote it down. So, sad to say. There we are. So, Super Street Fighter 2 from the Megadrive there. Now, another one from Virgin. This one's a little bit of a special one. This is Mega Turrican. Mega Turrican, of course, is quite a sought-after game for collectors on the Megadrive. Not the biggest fan of this game. I think it's all right, but not fantastic. Worth a lot more now than the £20 that I paid for it back in the day. Again, this is in the Megadrive's twilight years, so a lot of stuff was sort of being released at sort of like 94, 95. I used to love the Turrican games on the Amiga, so that's probably why I bought it. I think I felt a bit disappointed with it, but I'm glad I kept it with these and not thrown it out, because it is worth something now, thankfully. Road Rash 2. Now, I don't remember if I bought this from either SWAYTHLING Video Library or swapped it for a friend, or swapped it for another game from a friend, but no instructions with it. So I think this may have actually been from SWAYTHLING Video Library. I think it probably was. The cartridge is a bit knackered now. I've had to open it up a couple of times to clean it. Thankfully, it's got these. It's got crosshead screws on them. I'm not going to put that to the cameras. You won't be able to see it. But yeah, you just have to go in there and give it a bit of a clean. I think, to be honest, it's probably on its last legs. But it managed to hold up a few weeks ago when I gave it a play. So hopefully it will do the same. Back back in there. Streets of Rage 2, I think I remember buying this again, because I've sold and traded it over the years, up until the mid-90s when I've kept this copy for good. This was bought from the Game Exchange, which used to be across the road from the old McDonald's, which used to be on the corner of the precinct. It's now a hairdresser's, of course. So yeah, I think to talk about that particular shop in another video where they had some arcades up the top. But remember buying these there. This one there anyway. Kid Chameleon. Wow. This actually was bought from Ultima back in the day. This is the Genesis copy from North America. I think they sold a lot of these sort of import ones there. Had no problems on playing on these ones at all. They're just fine on the PAL Megadrive, although they play at the PAL speed. There's no problem with that. Got this one now on the PlayStation 2 Megadrive collection, and that one is better because I can use saves on this one. But this has got some good memories, so I'd like to share them with you. Fatal Fury. Quite a lot of hype for this one back in the day. Again, it's the conversion of the Neo Geo game. I think the mechanics in this one are a lot better. It's been beefed up a bit, although the graphics are inferior. I think I must have bought this from possibly Cash Converter or Game Station, one or the other, I'm not too sure. Flashback. Now, I wasn't into this game at the time, but really got into it later on. I played this in early 1998 when I was bought from a game shop in Shirley. I was doing a job at the tax office at the time. Couldn't afford a PS1 or a Saturn. Most of the money went to Sega Park anyway. Yeah, great little game there. I think everybody knows that one, so not much else to say on that. Classic stuff there. And of course, I'll end with Asterix. This is a shop, another game I bought from a shop in Shirley. Again, I've sort of owned this a few times up until, again, the mid-90s, late 90s, where I kept it for good. Very good copy I've got here. The only Master System game I'm really interested in, to be honest. No offence for Sega, but all the other stuff it's pretty dated. But this one I've got good memories of because I played, my friends actually rented this, and I have really good memories of playing with it. It's a great game, so certainly a lot better than the ones on the Mega Drive, I'll say. So great stuff to be had. Rocket Knight Adventures. I remember buying a copy of that on the SWAYTHLING Video Library. I absolutely love that game. Really, really fantastic to play. This copy came from eBay, sadly. Just want to mention that I bought this game and really loved it back in sort of late '93. Fantastic stuff. And good memories to share. Gunstar Heroes. I remember actually buying this originally from SWAYTHLING Video Library. Sold it to Game Exchange for cash. I've got quite a bit of cash for that at the time. Then I rebought it again towards the end of '94 and I've kept this copy ever since. Gunstar Heroes, of course, is a classic game which I absolutely love. Bit faded on the cover there, but all in very good condition and a great game to play. So just a little quick video there to discuss the game stores I used to hang around in the early 90s and some of the Mega Drive games I bought and the memories that go with them. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.